This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. By now, you should have seen this photo floating around online. And, I'm not going to say too much about it, except for the fact that I truly believe that Meghan Markle has a funhouse mirror inside her head because I don't know if anyone in their right mind would leave the house looking like this, but it's on brand for Meghan. And as a fashion icon, she, sorry, she definitely does it again. And I don't know if this is intentional. It has to be, because what other explanation would there be to look like such a hot mess? So apparently, New Money Meghan was out in the Hampty Hams, literally in my neck of the woods, 200 miles away, to attend the G9 Ventures Summer Summit. Now, you might ask, well, what the heck is that? G9 Ventures is an investment company that invests in early stage companies, so it would make sense if Meghan was there, since she probably is looking for investors. They were the ones who were the initial investors in a company called Goop that was started by Gwyneth Paltrow, the company that Meghan is trying so desperately to be. Well, in any case, they're behind that brand as well as the brand Spanx. So from what it looks like, this was not a private event. This was more of a pay for a ticket to be a part of this, where these females who are speaking on the stage either had some product to promote or some inspirational story or book to share. And what I gather from it, it was just another networking event. So for Meghan, this was just more PR, and she took this event to make it look like she was attending some exclusive high-power business summit to talk about Arrow, American Riviera, whatever the hell it is. What I find really irritating about Meghan, and this is not the first time that she's done this, is that whenever Meghan attaches herself to something, so for instance, if you Google G9 Ventures, all you see is Meghan's face pop up everywhere. You don't get to see who else was at the event or learn about what they're about. Nothing. All it is Meghan Markle and her showing up to this high-powered business event and what she was wearing. To me, I find if I was a part of this organization or attended this event, I would be annoyed, considering there were far more interesting people in that room than Meghan Markle. Now, all these puff pieces most definitely came from Meghan, because it does show their lack of understanding of the Hamptons. So if there were other people writing about this, they would say what part of Hamptons that Meghan was in, but they never did. They just said the Hamptons, and that's not how this works. If you're from this area, you will understand when I break this down. Now, for those that may not be aware, the Hamptons, yes, plural, are located in Long Island, New York. It's not part of New York City, which New York City is comprised of 5 boroughs. You have Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, Staten Island, and Manhattan. Where you see the TRG logo, that's the island of Manhattan, where almost 8 million people on a given day are crawling around, most likely more now with all the illegal people running around. So you can understand how cramped it is at the moment. So when we talk about the Hamptons, we talk about a cluster of towns where the wealthy elite go every weekend to spend their summer. You'll find the most of these elites clustering around Southampton, Watermill, Bridgehampton, East Hampton, Amagansett, Sag Harbor, Shelter Island, and Montauk. As soon as the summer season starts, the weekend calendars are packed with events from dusk to dawn, and 9 times out of 10, you need an invite to get into them. Now, that's one side of the Hamptons. There's also another side, like you can still have fun out in the Hamptons. There are other things to do, like on Saturdays, the tradition where everybody goes to party is the Surf Lodge in Montauk during the day, and then on Sunday, everybody goes to Shelter Island. I mean, you still have to know people, but there's a little bit of room there to do your own thing. Also, one thing that's really annoying about the Hamptons is you have to drive everywhere. So if you're invited to various parties and one's in Southampton and the other one's in Amagansett, it could be a real pain in the butt to be going from one to the other, especially if you're drinking. And that's like one of the drawbacks of the Hamptons, is that like not everything is close together. You really do have to drive around, and yeah, it could be a pain in the ass sometimes. But if you're wealthy, that's not a problem that you deal with because you have your own driveway. survivor. Anyway, getting back to our story with Meghan. So Meghan was in a town called East Hampton. That's where the event was. So as you can see her face there, it's right in between Amagansett and Bridgehampton. And this is going to be important to know in a second. So no one really knows how Meghan showed up to this event. Some are saying that she hitched a ride with Jamie Kern-Lima, seen in the pink there. Now, many of you might not know that Jamie Kern-Lima is a self-made billionaire. She had founded a cosmetics company in which L'Oreal had bought it over for like over $1 billion. Then you have in the middle there Sarah Blakely, who is the CEO of Spanx. She is worth about $1.3 billion. I'm going to assume that Meghan forced her way into this photo because right before it was just a picture of Sarah Blakely and Jamie Kern-Lima. We all know that Meghan likes to attach herself to people, so when people do see her name, they see her with these high-powered people. This is all about optics. I am convinced that Meghan crashed this event because everyone is wearing a name tag, even the celebrities like Reese Witherspoon. And Meghan doesn't have one. Now, it could either be pure arrogance, saying, well, I don't need to wear a name tag because I'm the Duchess of Sussex and everybody knows who I am. But if Gwyneth Paltrow and Reese Witherspoon and all these billionaires are wearing their name tag, then Meghan has no reason not to. So it's either arrogance or she just wasn't invited, my opinion. Now, I'd like to point out here that Gwyneth Paltrow was not in attendance of this event this year, but Reese Witherspoon was. And in one of the rare photos from the event, here is a picture of Reese with Dancing with the Stars alum Julianne Hough. Now, if you don't know who she is, I highly recommend you check it out. She is a beautiful dancer, as well as her brother, Derek. These two have some serious talent. But getting back to this, it's interesting that Reese didn't take any photos with anyone except for her. And I wonder if that's because she was avoiding Meghan, because we all know that Meghan most definitely was trying to get a photo, and I'm sure Reese would not have that. In fact, we know that Reese would not have that. I think Reese is smart enough to understand that any association, even if it is just a friendly picture, could turn into something that could damage her brand. So she stayed far away. Smart woman. But sadly, Jamie Kern-Lima has crossed paths with Meghan, and now she's fell into her trap. As you can see here, the woman's already got her claw on her, which is quite creepy. Why is she not doing that to her dear friend Misha, who she's known longer than this Jamie Kern-Lima? I fear for Jamie because she seems like a very nice person, and Meghan is going to take advantage of that. And at some point, Jamie Kern-Lima is going to get Markled. My advice, don't get involved with this woman. Do not invest in this Arrow business because you're going to be left with a pile of shit. Now, I'm sure that Meghan was in heaven when she saw all the freebies that were being given out during this so-called summit, that she probably walked away with like 5 of these gift bags, no doubt. So in summary, when you look at what this event was all about, it truly was about uplifting women and motivating them and helping them network to move forward with their business endeavors. For Meghan, this was a chance to network and latch herself onto people who have money. That's really what this was all about. Meghan has zero ambition to see Arrow get off the ground. And essentially what I see her doing is pawning this off onto others to build the brand for her and her just attach her name to it, because this is what Meghan's all about. She really does think that the Duchess of Sussex is so powerful and influential that whatever she slaps her name onto is going to create gold. And she just needs some poor sucker to do it for her. And I hope that Jamie Kern-Lima is not the person that she's trying to do this with. Meghan wants desperately to be the next Goop, hence the reason why she's putting herself in the orbit of the people who made Goop what it is. Now, would it be a shock that just in the next town over at the same time, Gwyneth Paltrow was having her own event in Amagansett for Goop? Where Cameron Diaz and Rachel Zoe, as well as Nacho's wife, were all in attendance?
Bonjour. 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 We are at Goop French Pharmacy. I'm here to celebrate the queen over there, Gwyneth.
Back in the early days of Goop, I had written this piece on the French pharmacy, the best place in the world. And you go there and there's all this amazing stuff. And I thought, oh my God, maybe there's a way to have commerce that feels like a service and not like a transaction. 16 years after sending that, here we are. These women that I love so much who've been by my side, I really couldn't do it without you all. And all these amazing, beautiful women. Thank you all so much for gathering to celebrate our summer and all these amazing, beautiful women.
As you can see, Delphina sitting right across from Cameron Diaz and Gwyneth Paltrow. A little fun fact, Delphina and Nacho are fixtures in the Hampton social scene, so they're always invited to the best parties as well as the best dinners and the best events. This weekend, the hot party to be at was the Mr. Porter Hampton party. Here we see Molly Sims and Delphina smiling with Kate Love. Also in attendance was the newly engaged to Alex Soros, Huma Abedin. It is interesting seeing Nacho sitting at a table with her, which makes you question the circle of friends this guy keeps. Looks like Nacho's sister was in attendance. Surely they could have gotten a +1 for Megzy. You would think that she would be able to get an invite to that at least, because she did collaborate with them back in 2012, unless she was a nightmare to work with, and they never want to see her back again, which I suspect that's the case. Also, another event that happened this weekend was the Oui Suite and Le Grand Dame by Veuve Clicquot Celebrate Women Innovators event. One would think that Meghan most definitely would have been invited to this one, and that's because Meghan supposedly knows the founder of Oui Suite, Dee Poku. She was seen here during the Mental Health Summit, in which she had said about Meghan, I got the chance to hear the always inspiring Meghan Markle speak on World Mental Health Day about this very topic. This metaphor she used really resonated and gives me hope we can find safe solutions for future generations. Maybe Meghan did get an invite because Katie Couric got an invite. All these socialist hypocrites all hang around one another. Could it be that Meghan's unconscious bias was showing and this group was too ethnic for Meghan? I hate that Meghan has made us all look at things through the color of people's skin now. Help me understand, where's the diversity, equity, and inclusion of the G9 Summer Summit? Do you see the hypocrisy here? I'm so sick and tired of these liberal progressives like Meghan Markle who use race to divide us. It's sickening that Kakala is running a race segregationist campaign in which Meghan Markle's online terrorist group, the Sussex Squad, are participating in supporting these types of campaigns. As you can see here, an organization that Meghan and Harry fund, which is the 19th. Remember that news media organization that focused strictly on Black and brown people? No whites allowed, folks. Now, I really hate the fact that every time I see Kakala now, I think it's Meghan Markle all over again. We have someone here who is using race to divide the nation, and it's actually setting us back. And I agree with Michael Schellenberger. This idea of racially segregating Zoom calls is similar in some ways to the bad racist idea that was behind racially segregating schools, which is that Black and white people are so different from each other that we should be separated. This is exactly what is going on right now in this country, and it needs to stop because we are destructing in real time. Think about what Meghan Markle did to the royal family. She used incendiary racialist language to bully them. This is exactly what the Kakala campaign is doing now, and we need to wake up and recognize it. Is this what we want? They keep saying that millions of dollars are being raised on these gender and racially segregated Zoom calls. Personally, I think this is all a distraction to keep us not only divided, but also to deflect away from the scandal that broke a couple days ago regarding the Act Blue donation PAC.
Democratic fundraising. But there's another name emerging, and just how he is funneling money to the party is raising some eyebrows. Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel shows us what makes this Swiss billionaire's donations different and very influential.
Hans-Jörg Wyss is a Swiss billionaire who is quietly spending a fortune to have an impact on American politics. Wyss is not as well known as George Soros or Tom Steyer, but tax filings revealed two of Wyss's organizations, a foundation and a nonprofit fund, donated $208 million from 2016 through early last year. Much of it focused on election reform, to D.C. statehood, to the Voting Rights Act amendment. That includes the election reform bill currently being considered by Congress. Weiss has not disclosed if he is a U.S. citizen, but as a foreigner is not restricted from giving to groups trying to influence public policy.
Not only have Democrats leveled the playing field, they have taken dark money and run with it.
During the 2020 cycle, the Center for Responsive Politics reports conservative groups received $190 million in dark money, while contributions to liberal groups was $447 million.
That's just a really staggering figure that you're seeing more than twice the amount of dark money benefiting Democrats.
Though during the 2020 campaign, prominent Democrats publicly condemned dark money.
Number one, take none of it.
So apparently Act Blue is being investigated for money laundering. So to be able to funnel this sort of dark money into the campaign, they have been taking people's identities and sparsing out donations. So it looks like it's the American people, but really it's money funneling in from like a George Soros or from Hans-Jörg Weiss. Now, if you've been following me, then that name would ring a bell because he is one of the board of directors with Prince Harry on African parks. What's even more troubling now is what Einstein Evans had posted yesterday on X, where he writes Meghan Markle donated upwards of $25,000 to Act Blue, a platform that raises money for Democrats and particularly CACLA. So now here's what I want to know. Where did Evans Einstein get this information? Because if Meghan Markle indeed donated $25,000 to Act Blue, why is it not showing up in the FEC.gov database? Could it be that Meghan is doing the same thing that Hans-Jörg Weiss is doing and giving it to the squad and sparsing it out so it's untraceable? I would like to see some receipts on this, because if the squad are being given small denominations to make donations to Act Blue from Meghan, then that could open up a whole can of problems, especially if this $25,000 is actually coming from Harry, which came from the Crown. You follow me here with how serious this would be? And then if that be the case, that that's happening now, we need to check 2020 elections to see if Harry's money was funneled through the squad. Say what you want, but these liberal Democrats are going to do everything they possibly can to maintain this power. What they have been doing to this country for the last 4 years only benefits them, but destroying the rest of America. I bring this up because I blame Meghan and Harry for contributing to this destruction and division that we are seeing here in the United States. Do you think I want to see this on a daily basis outside my window? Now you understand why I'm so afraid to go outside and walk around. And for all you liberals out there that want to talk about abortion rights, I don't give a shit, because that doesn't affect me. This affects me. Now imagine having this in your own backyard. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of when this will come to a town near you, because it is coming. This is just a preview of how bad it's going to get. There are people getting shot. There are illegal firearms coming in. There are gang members who now rule the streets. I am petrified to go outside, guys. Who wants to be living life like this? I don't think I can go another 4 years like this, but where do you move to? Because at this point, any place that you go to is going to be flooded with these people. So I suggest you think long and hard, if not for caring about me and my safety and keeping this current administration with the shit policies and the lack of not doing a goddamn thing about it, cackala. You think about your own safety and what possibly can happen to you, because it's happening. And I'm showing it to you in real time. And the people that I blame for this, that helped influence to get this current administration into power, are the people like Meghan and Harry, like Safiya Noble, like Rashad Robinson, like Christopher Boozy, and like that entire terrorist squad that Meghan and Harry have been funding and supporting. Now, let me end on this final note. It should scare everyone, not just Americans, but the world, that there is the potential for someone just like Meghan Markle to take the highest seat of office in the United States. Now, let me address all those cackling Meghan supporters, because we all know you're doing double time right now in going out and harassing people. I don't care if you call me a misogynist, a racist, and even a xenophobe. My concern right now is my safety. These current Biden-Harris policies, particularly around immigration, where Kamala Harris was assigned the lead, don't guarantee me that. Add into that all the shit policies that the Biden-Harris administration put in place to not only drive up inflation, but make it that much more difficult for Americans to make ends meet. I myself included in that. I feel this in so many different ways that, no, I want change. This is not for me. I want to go back to the Trump era where things were good, to where I felt safe to go outside and walk around in my own neighborhood. How can anyone want 4 more years of this is beyond me. Well, I can understand the globalists do because they are making money hand over fist by stealing our money with these policies. So I can understand that. But for the rest of us, I don't think you do. And if you do, then what's wrong with you? Anyhow, that's all I got. But what do you guys think? Definitely leave your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.